Welcome to Money, Manifestation, and Business, the podcast that shows you how to use your energy, intention, and consciousness to reprogram your money mindset, unleash a new level of possibility, and create a life and business that lights you up. I'm your host, Jamie Berman, and I invite you to join me each week for a dose of inspiration, coaching, and teachings to help you rewrite your money story, create abundance on your terms, and grow your business in a way that's fully aligned for you. This is going to be so much fun. Let's dive in. Hi, everyone. We have another super special interview today. I am with the amazing Jillian Minter, who I asked to come on because I was like, Jillian, I have seen you shift your consciousness around money, and I really want to dive into your brain, see what's worked, and see, I would love for you to share more of your story and how you have doubled your income in the past year, and just I've witnessed your growth. So I really want to dive into that and allow the listeners to hear like what works, what shifts you made, and what they can do to also double their income potentially. So are you open to sharing a little bit more about yourself, your business first, and then we'll dive into that fun stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. So I have a travel and wellness blog, Spritz Sunday, and I inspire and teach women how to prioritize themselves so that they can get the best out of life, how to avoid burnout and heal from the stress cycle. So, and then I have a background in wellness, teaching Pilates and yoga, and I co-own a studio and run some local studios as well.
You're like master entrepreneur, which is also what I want to talk about because you've had several successful businesses. So, I love that. And I want to talk about that too. But one of the things that inspired me to ask you to come on is I remember back at the retreat in San Diego back in January, and you were just like casually talking to someone and you were like, oh yeah, back when I joined the movement. When did you join, by the way, when you joined the movement?
I think it was summer. I think it was
over the summer. So about a little over 6 months now, maybe 7 months ago. And now Jillian's in the mastermind, and that's why she was at the retreat. But you were casually talking and you were like, oh yeah, I joined the movement. And within like a month or two, you said something like that. You're like, yeah, I pretty much doubled my income and have a 6-figure salary. And like, I was like, wait, Jillian, what? I was like, wait, I didn't know this. Like, tell me everything. So I think that's so amazing and so inspiring. And I want to hear more about that. And I'd love to hear like, what shifts you made on an internal level, on a mindset level that allowed you to do that. And then also like what actions you took that have allowed you to double your salary. What was the time frame? Do you remember? Was it like?
I think it only took a few months, maybe 3 months or so.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
God. So what happened?
Yeah. So this was starting this job. It was my first time. I was in a new city. So when I moved, had to get a job working for someone else. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, but I hadn't worked for anyone in a long time, like 7 years. And so I knew that if I was going to put my time and energy into someone else's business, I wanted it to be worth it. And I always had wanted to make 6 figures. So when I came into this job, it was like an hourly position. It didn't make any sense. So I proposed to the owner, like it needed to be salary, and like looking into it, like legally it had to be a salary as well. So I started to think about that. I started to look at what other people in the market were making, and it just seemed low to me. So because I was running multiple businesses, like we have 3 locations, I decided like what would be like a really high salary that would make me feel good about working for someone else. And so I got like really nervous when I thought about that number. So I just practiced asking for that and knowing that I was worth it and not thinking that it was a lot of money, because just because it's a lot of money to me or to my old self doesn't mean it was a lot of money to the owner or to anyone else. Like it was just a number. So I just really worked on like that thermostat for thinking like, this isn't a big ask. I'm totally going to get this. And then I got comfortable with it and the meeting got like pushed out. And by the time we went to the meeting, I was like, no, this job is like hard and I want to make 6 figures. So I was like, I'm going to go in and I'm going to ask for 6 figures. And she just like literally was like, yeah, that's fair. Okay. And moved right on to the next agenda task. And I was like, oh my goodness, this works. Like I had all this drama or, worked through all this drama and I probably could have asked for more than I did.
That's amazing. Such a testament to manifestation working, right? Because you did it, you manifested it. And this also goes along with the whole ask and it is given, right? Like if we are not willing to ask, we won't know, right? It's like you were willing to actually ask for it and go for it and take courageous action. And then you got it. That's so amazing. So when you say you were shifting your thermostat, right, your financial thermostat, how did you practice that? Was it a writing practice? Was it internally? Like leading up to the meeting, how did you start getting yourself from not so comfortable asking for that amount to the point where you felt like, oh no, I'm deserving of this. Like that is what this is worth.
I journaled on it. I journaled on like the I am, I'm a 6-figure earner. I am worth this, and did writing like in my morning rituals that I did every day. But I also just like normalized it. Like I would think about the amount maybe 5 times throughout the day and be like, that's not a lot of money. Like that's normal. And then when I would meet people like out in public, like I live in Seattle, so it's a very wealthy city. So I'd be like, well, that person makes that. And that person definitely makes that. And just started to like normalize it in my own head.
I love that. That is so good. I think that's such a good practice too. I actually used to go to like Neiman Marcus, or I'd go to like Beverly Hills back whenever I was working retail. And sometimes I'd be working at those stores. And I remember like embodying like, oh yeah, this is normal. I'm going to be like that one day. Like that's going to be normal for me one day, instead of being like, how do they do that? Like a part of me would ask that question, but I remember thinking like, oh no, that's going to be me one day. Right. I think that's such a good practice of getting into the energy or into an environment where there is money. And like you said, you're like in Seattle, there's people that have money, and just like going around and being like, oh no, I'm elevating to this. I love that so much. That's so good. Such a good practice on top of the journaling and just the embodying. How long did you do that before the meeting happened?
Maybe like, because it got pushed out, which totally worked in my favor, maybe like a couple months max.
Yeah.
6 weeks.
Wow.
Like, yeah. But when I joined the mastermind, I was like, I'm ready for a quantum leap. Like whatever you tell me to do, like I just go all in. Like I don't have drama about it or think it, or, try to have as little as possible. I'm just like, okay, this works and this is what I'm going to do. And
wow.
Yeah, stick to it.
Amazing. So I think that's a huge piece of it. In fact, Kelsey's interview, I know, just came out recently. And I mean, as of when this airs, it'll be Kelsey Carter's interview was like probably back in March, I think it aired. So if you want to listen to that one too, you can. But she talks a lot about just having confidence in manifestation working, right? And that sounds like what you're talking about, because I think that's so true. When you just decide this works, then you actually can implement it. But when you're wobbling and like, it doesn't work, I don't know, then you're not actually fully going all in. And I think that's that's why within a couple months, this shift happened for you. So I'm curious, what was it back in the summer that made you decide to join? Like, what was it about? Because you joined the movement first, and then you joined the mastermind after that. But when you first joined the movement, where were you in terms of your money mindset, or what was it that inspired you to join? Was it the manifestation piece you were excited about? Do you remember?
Yeah. I was reading You're a Badass by Jen Sincero.
Yep.
And I read a lot of personal development and manifestation stuff anyway, but she said, like, you have to get a coach, and get a coach who's good with money. And I had a life coach, but her capacity for money, it wasn't with where I wanted to be. I had been broke as an entrepreneur for so long that the amount of money she would help me, like the things we would talk about, it was such a small amount of money. And she's like, well, you only need this to live, or you only need that so you can make that. And I just don't think that her wealth thermostat matched mine. So then I found you. And I was looking for a money coach, but when you had the manifestation, I was like, oh, this is perfect. Cause like I'm into manifestation and like the woo woo element. And sometimes when people don't get that that's part of the process, it's hard to, they just don't have the same practices as you.
Yes, 100%. That is awesome. And I completely agree with you. I read that book. I don't remember her saying that, but it's so true. Because I've had even like business coaches where I feel like you're just offering me your limiting beliefs, like I hear it and I'm like, don't, you're offering like, and luckily like it's helpful to be like, okay, I'm able to discern that every coach is a human and they have their own thoughts, but like, it's so important, like you said, yes, to find a coach that has actually done the work around the area that you really want coaching on. It does. It makes all the difference. And that's why for me, a lot of times I'm like, I want a coach who's like expensive because they know their worth,
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it just shows that they have, not that like you have to charge a ton of money or anything. Of course, there's many different offers, but I'm always thinking about that. Are they actually charging the value of what they're doing, or is, what they're charging a limitation? Because that kind of just like shows me a little bit. So yeah, that's awesome. I love it. I love it. And have you noticed since doing this work, within the movement and within the mastermind, has it had an effect outside of money?
Oh yeah. I mean, I was always into manifestation, but there was just a piece that I couldn't figure out and was missing. So I'd manifested amazing things like my partner, like I manifested him the same day I like journaled about him. I met him. Like I'd had some incredible experiences, but I just couldn't quite get down the business and the money piece, which I think it was the attachment. That was always the most important thing to me, was like my career and my success in that. And so learning how to shift that and realizing that it was just like the energy and the attachment has just propelled me. So I think I was always a good manifester, but now I'm like even more powerful, which is amazing.
Okay, I want to dive into this attachment piece that you've noticed was different about maybe your partner versus maybe business or money, because I think that is so common, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why so many people, including myself back in the day, I used to say, oh my God, I can manifest anything but money and but business. It felt like that had to be a struggle, which I have since realized that's not the case. But I want to hear more about what you learned about attachment and any of the mindset shifts or practices that you've implemented now in money and business that have helped.
Yeah. Well, when I see myself being attached to something, it's really important for me to dial back and realize that like, there is not better than here is what you've really taught me. And it's true. And I practice gratitude every day, and slowing down and doing that makes me realize like, it doesn't really matter. Like I do have a great life, and all the best things that like money can't buy, I already have. And the best parts of my life are like when I get to spend time with my dog, walking her. Like it has nothing to do with all this other stuff I'm trying to manifest. And that really kind of helps me just release that.
Yes, that's so good. And how have you noticed that opening things up or shifting things for you in business or with money?
It's just expanding me. Like it's expanding what is possible, and it's allowing more abundance to come into my life.
That is so cool. I love that. That's so good.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, what was it that inspired you to sign up for or to apply for the Soulful Six Figure Mastermind then after you came into the movement?
Because I was so dead set on doing this work and like having a quantum leap, and I was like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to master it. And I wanted the results fast. So when I joined the movement and I started seeing results and what I was capable of, I was like, okay, if I double down and join the mastermind, imagine what I'll be able to accomplish like, a year from now. Like I'll be such a different place. And why not do it now? Like, cause I'd been thinking about it, and I watched the movement a few times before joining. Like I did, I think one of your launches and had gone to some of your webinars, but I'd wish I'd done it sooner. Right. Like, so I was like, I'm not going to do that to myself. I'm going to go all in right now.
Yeah. What have you noticed within what shifting? Have you noticed anything shifting from joining the mastermind? What has shifted within you? What have you learned?
I've gotten really clear on what I want. Like you helped me really figure out that like I can have whatever I want. So I need to figure out what that is. Like it was at the retreat and you were coaching me and you were like, well, with your business, like my studio that I co-own, like what would you want? I'm like, I want to sell it and I want to check for the whole thing. Like I don't want to do a payments, things like that. And like now that's actually happening.
Yes.
And it's like so simple and so easy. And yeah.
That's amazing, because I know you set the intention to allow it to be simple and easy, because I remember that conversation and you're like, this is what I really want, but I've already tried it and it didn't work. And I'm like, wait, do you try it before or after you knew manifestation? You're like, wait, oh yeah, it was before I was practicing manifestation. I'm like, let's try it with manifestation. And look at that. I mean, this was 2 months ago.
I know.
Like now it's in process. What?
Yeah, like it'll be done probably in like 4 weeks. It's crazy how just releasing that attachment and deciding, just letting it happen. And like, that's what like the abundance, it is out there.
Wow. What did you practice around that? Was it the same thing?
Yeah. I wanted it to be easy. I wanted to get what I thought the business was worth. And I also wanted my business partner to like buy me out. And I felt like it was helping her. Like she doesn't need me and she's giving me half of the money when she does most everything. That like, I think it's allowing her to expand. So it's mutually beneficial. So
yes. Oh my gosh. And when you can get clear on that and how it's valuable for them and why it's for the best, it's like so awesome. I love that. And I love how clear your vision is now. So I know your sacred business project is, and for those of you that don't know, inside of the mastermind, everyone chooses a sacred business project, which is something that they want to step into. Everyone's is totally, completely different, which is so fun because everyone gets to choose what's the next season for me? What do I want to step into? Who do I want to become in the next 6 months? And for Jillian, you really had a clear vision of like what you wanted to do. Are you open to sharing more about that project?
Yeah. So my sacred business project is monetizing my blog, which I'm definitely working on. But now I'm also kind of, I feel like clearing things up, like selling my business so that I can go all in on the things that really light me up that I want to do.
Yeah. I got to pop in and interrupt your episode because we have something very, very exciting coming up. So I don't want you to miss it. Here it is. The Soulful Six-Figure Mastermind is opening applications on May 1st. So mark your calendar because you do not want to miss this. It only happens twice a year. Now, the Soulful Six-Figure Mastermind is a transformational coaching container. It is my most high-touch coaching container. So let me tell you a little bit about it. It is for coaches and service-based entrepreneurs who are ready to grow their business using energy and intention and consciousness and basically all the things that you are learning on this podcast, only you really learn to implement it in your business with me as your mentor and coach. You get a lot of coaching, which is so incredible. So many shifts happen for my clients that go through the Soulful Six-Figure Mastermind. And I would love to have you. So whether you are an entrepreneur growing to your first 6 figures or scaling beyond 6 figures up to 7 figures, there is a spot for you. We have 2 different cohorts. We have our growth cohort and we have our scaling cohort. Now, if you want to get first access to applications, here's what you're going to want to do. You're going to want to get on the wait list because we have a limited number of people that we accept each round for the mastermind. So go to jamieberman.com/mastermind and make sure you're on the wait list so you get first access to doors opening. Okay, I'll let you get back to the episode. So cool. And that's what we were talking about yesterday, how it's so interesting how when we set a vision for what we actually want, then the universe kind of starts giving us, oh, here's the next step. Oh, it's probably selling the business. And here's another step. And this is another step. So, yeah, that's super awesome. And I'm curious how it's been for you because you have had successful businesses in the past. You had your, is it yoga and Pilates studio or
Mhm.
just Pilates? Okay.
It's
Yeah.
both.
You
Yeah.
had a successful yoga and Pilates studio. And you also, you're doing the business consulting now and helping other businesses clean up their businesses. And then now you've stepped into, like you said, just monetizing the blog, which is really starting fresh with something.
Yeah.
How has that journey been for you, like having that beginner's mindset?
It's just so different. Like everything I've always done in my career has always been like brick and mortar. So going into like a blog, which is, an online business is so like there's just so much is similar, but there's so much that I have to learn and it's so different. But I'm really enjoying it. Like I love the process of it. And I think that makes it kind of all worth it. And this work has allowed me to enjoy that and realize that like this is really fun. So there are times when it's hard, of course, and there's so many limiting beliefs about like blogging and having, a business like that.
Yeah.
And you hear it a lot. And so a lot of the work is just kind of tuning that out as well.
Yep. Oh my God. I love that you're able to even catch that. That is so powerful that now it seems like even, especially after knowing this work, it's like we said about like hiring a coach and you can notice, oh, they're limiting beliefs or whatever. Yeah, it's helpful to be able to like look at an industry and be like, maybe that doesn't have to be the case for me. Maybe that doesn't have to be true for me. Yeah, that's so, so awesome. Is there a part of you that I'm just curious because I've had lots of clients who have like either started a new business, shifted and pivoted their business, or like opened a new channel. Like, for example, I have a client in the mastermind who is opening an Airbnb, right? And after having a successful business that's just kind of rinse and repeat, for some people, it can feel really challenging, right? So I'm curious, has it felt hard starting over or not starting over, but starting kind of fresh learning or have you just embodied this mindset that's allowed you to enjoy it?
Yeah, no, I just enjoy it. And I actually think it's easier because I've done it before. I've also failed at businesses before, and I'm not really like that doesn't mean anything about me. Like that doesn't say anything. And I think having an online business is easier than having like I ran a business through COVID. Like I can do
Oh my
anything,
God. Yeah.
like
Right.
my studio, the first year it ever made money was 2019. So
Wow.
like going into 2020, like I purchased it, it was an existing studio and it was just bleeding money. So right when I got it turned around, we went into the pandemic and I was like, absolutely not. Like I've put my blood, sweat and tears into this and I will not let it go under. So
Yeah.
I feel like nothing will be harder than that.
Wow. Yes. Isn't that amazing, right? Whenever you have already had that experience. And then I love that though, that you're like, oh no, if I can do that, I can do this. So I'm curious with business, I'd love to ask you because I have a lot of listeners that are just starting out in business or they're, new to making money in business. Since you are, like I said, a master entrepreneur, what would you say are some of the things that you see in common amongst all your businesses that you've grown that have allowed you to be successful?
I think it's really like me, right? Like investing in me and my mindset and knowing that I can be successful at whatever I want to do, or like I will be successful at whatever I do. And then also surrounding yourself with people that believe that. Like, like I had a friend who told me like, "Oh, blogging is hard. Your blog, like that's never going to make money." And I was like, "What? That's not the kind of friend I want around." So like, I just distance myself. Like I don't have those intimate conversations with her. So I think it's that belief. Um, and then I think resources are really important. Like once I started, I had been broke in my business. The studio was losing money for so long that once I kind of started paying people to help me and not doing everything myself, it made everything so much easier. So now I recognize that. Like we've talked about this, like in the blog, like I'm going all in and I will hire people to help me. And like, I don't need to wait until a certain time. I think
Yes.
that's been really helpful as
Oh, that's so, I think a lot of people need to hear that because that's one huge limiting belief that I hear a lot is like, well, I can do it myself, so I should, right? And I don't want, in like the fear of releasing resources to invest in a
well. Yeah.
business. Yeah. What creates the safety for you to do that?
Seeing the success because
Mm,
I didn't do it for so long. And when
yeah.
I did, the business just skyrocketed.
Yeah.
Like like with my studio, I hired like a manager to help me and then business went way up and then I hired someone else. Like the more I took off my plate, the business just continues to go up and up. And like even now I'm in the process of selling it when technically it's going to have the best year it's ever had like this year, but I know that that's going to come back to me. Like I know that I've learned the skill of how to make money and I'm happy that that business is doing it and it's not for me. And now I'm going to go do it like somewhere else.
Oh my God, I just got chills, Jillian. That's so good. Okay, now I have to ask you this. You said, I know the skill of making money. How would you describe that?
It's so funny because it has nothing to do with like what I was taught or what I used to think. Like it's not about hard work. It's not about the that's really what I thought it was for gosh, most of my life. And it's just a mindset. You just have to decide that you know how to do it and you have to be good at what you do. Like we talk so much about value and
Yeah.
focusing on the value that you give and now that's really what I focus on and the rest just kind of falls into place.
Oh my gosh. So awesome. How fun is that? Because, like, no matter what you do, you can bring that into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Even the
Yeah.
job I'm at now, like they were going to go under, which is why they hired me
Yeah.
to kind of fix it. And I sat down with the CFO and I was like, well, I'm not going to run a business that's going under. So like we have to fix this or I'm resigning. Like I will not be associated. I just don't have time for that. Like that's just not who I am. And I will be successful at everything I touch.
Oh my God. And the confidence, like, I'd be like, yes, take 100K, please. Right. Like you having that
Yeah.
confidence.
Yeah.
No wonder. Right. Like
Yeah.
you see, that's what's so cool about this. It's such a mirror. You see your value. Not only have you created that for yourself by investing in yourself, but also it's like you're willing to recognize it and embody it and then share that, which of course that's what also creates the money. So yeah, that's so powerful. I love that so much. Do you feel like 1 year ago you could have said that? I know the skill of making money.
Oh gosh, no.
Really?
Yeah. No. I don't think I realized that until probably sometime in the mastermind. I
Yeah.
mean, because you say like, I think that you say somewhere or like making money is a skill that I'm learning.
Yep.
And I just decided like, yeah, I have done that and I know how to do it. And in the mastermind, we were talking at some point and I said, well, I've never made money blogging. And you were like, but you've made money doing other things. And you've coached a few other people on that too. That's like, we haven't made money doing this, but you have made money. And I was like, oh, well, yeah, I do know how to make money.
Yeah, totally. 100%. And you can implement that in anything. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I'm curious, is there advice that you would give to new entrepreneurs? Someone who's just starting out and is like, I want to learn the skill of making money. I want to start making money in business. What advice would you have to someone who's just starting out?
To keep going because you
Mhm.
will make money if you keep going. You will be
Yeah.
successful if you keep going. And I think what people often forget is that like every successful entrepreneur has a story or a business that has failed. Like, you have to fail at a few things, but like you're failing forward. So
Yes.
just to keep going because you will make it.
Absolutely. I love that. It's so true because I think in those beginning phases, like just in the beginning of it, it can feel so long sometimes,
Yeah.
right? Because we have to learn some of the foundations. There's sometimes foundational pieces we need to learn. We need to actually get good at creating value in the beginning, right? We have a little bit of a learning curve. And so it's so true that I think it's just the compound effect. If you just keep on going, yeah, 100%. And if you love it, I think it has to be aligned. But I love that advice. That's so good. So good. So would you be open to sharing a little bit more about your blog and what you share on there, why you love it, how people can find you?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's all wellness and travel and like living an Italian lifestyle. So obviously my background is in wellness. I'm an expert in that. And I think that in order to be like just have a well-balanced life, you have to take care of yourself. And I think especially women have a really hard time prioritizing themselves. So I talk a lot about wellness and like everything from fitness to mindset to just, how to take care of yourself so that you can have the best life possible. And then I talk about travel because I think that's so the best part of life, right? Is like when you get to go on vacation and see the world and, just experiencing different cultures. So I talk about those things. And then my favorite place is Italy. So I love the Italians because I think they know how to do life right. Like they have a mindfulness, they slow down, they care about connection. They really have the values that I identify with. So I talk a lot about like living la dolce vita, living, how can you live like an Italian in your everyday life?
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, I'm just curious, you embodying that also helps you with business, like, right? All the wellness, like you said, that dolce vita lifestyle.
Yeah.
Do you find that helps you in your business?
Yeah, because for so long I was your typical burnout entrepreneur who worked all the time and didn't take time off, and vacations were like my escape from life. And I wasn't necessarily happy in my everyday life. And now that I've learned that through like practicing gratitude and a manifestation process, I can just be so much more successful and so much more like great at what I do. So it's like
Right.
slowing down to speed up. We talk
I
about
love
that.
that. Yep, totally. And that's another piece is also, I think, allowing yourself to live that lifestyle
Mhm.
also makes us not in a rush to get somewhere else. So it's
Yeah.
also why I witnessed you embodying like that detached kind of like, no, it's going to happen. There is not better than here. And I'm going to do it. I'm expanding as we speak, but not in a rush to get there. You're letting yourself really enjoy it. And I imagine it's bringing all of that into it. So I love that. And yeah, where can readers or where can people find your blog, subscribe to it?
Yeah. So it's spritzsunday.com. So I'm on a mission to make every day Spritz Sunday. So Spritz Sunday is my day. Like it's my favorite day. It's on Sunday when you have nothing to do and you can just sit around and have a spritz with like your loved ones. So that's the name of the blog, spritzsunday.com. They can subscribe and find the blog there. And then I'm on Instagram at Jillian Minter.
Yay, awesome. Yes, everyone go subscribe. It's so good. I love all of your vlogs and everything you share. It's so good, so inspiring. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Jillian. Thank you for sharing your wisdom, your magic. And it's just, I love these interviews because I just get inspired, right? Like I love hearing what works for everyone. And I feel like it's so fun because you're just giving others permission, you're giving others ideas, and you're just such a beautiful example of what's possible. So thank you for coming on and sharing with all of us. And I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for listening. I hope this episode is something that you'll be able to add to your manifestation toolbox to come back to when you need a little extra motivation. If you like what you've heard today and want to take it deeper, you've got to come check out my signature coaching program, the Money Manifestation Movement. It's the place where you'll not only learn manifestation, but you'll begin to live it alongside me and an amazing community of like-minded entrepreneurs doing this work together. Head on over to jamieberman.com to learn more.